Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I will be joined by Donna Hawthorne, who is a channeler and expert in Starseed origins and constellations, and she will be joining us shortly to talk all about her experiences, how she came to do what she does and write her books, and will also give a little bit of detail about channeling and astral projection, which is also something that I do. So I'm very excited to hear Donna's experiences with this. Hi, Donna. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to hear about your experiences and your knowledge on starseeds. So, if we could start at how you got into this, where did this journey all begin for you?
So I'm a psychic medium in my natural everyday human life. Do you want to hear about that experience or the starseed experience? Which side were you wanting to get into?
Um, I mean, all things paranormal and supernatural are welcome on this show. So, whatever information you want to give, really, that's fine.
All right, no worries. Well, psychic medium was just a natural calling for me. I was always very intuitive, and always felt a calling towards, something higher than my actual normal everyday human life. So that's sort of where that happened, and I joined groups and met my guides. And I don't know if you know anything about how you become a psychic medium or you have experience in it in the past, but it's like a step process. Some people are just naturally born with it, or it's passed down through the bloodlines. For me, there's no one in my family that have had it before. So I kind of had to learn along the way. And it's been a hard couple of years learning, and a lot of scary stuff has happened, a lot of great stuff has happened. And
Mhm.
now I'm at the end, like, there's stages of your awakening, and I've developed a why system. And at the moment, a lot of people are coming to me and they're asking me to help them with their awakening. So I'm at a stage where I'm at the end of my why, and I'm helping other people understand their awakening, because they're at the very start where I was a couple of years ago. So I had to learn along the way how to do it, protect yourself, meet your guides, join Facebook groups and meet others who are just the same as we are. Because it's not a normal everyday talked about subject in society, and you've got to pick and choose who you can talk to about certain topics. So
Yeah.
that was sort of how I was thrust into the psychic world.
Yeah.
My start
Sorry.
sorry, what did you say?
Um, yeah, for me, it was a little bit more natural because I do have members of my family
Yeah.
who already have like psychic abilities and things like that. So can you go over a little bit for people who don't know, like the stages that you mentioned?
Yeah, so I've put about, I think, 7 stages during my awakening process. It's all about answering your why, and why are we here on this planet? Who are we as human beings? What more to life is there? So it's like the first stage of awakening is being curious about your why and wanting to know, what's my point on being a human being? What's my purpose as a human being? That's stage one to your why. And then researching your why, it goes on to like starting to research your why, trying to, as I said, connecting with your guides, finding out how to hone your skills, find it, because there's so many different skills you could have in this realm as well. Some people, I did a pick a card today on my channel about magic, and magic's not my forte, but I've got to remember that other people really love magic. So there are so many different skill sets that people hone in on, and you can actually pick and choose what you do and don't want to do. So then there's the research stage, then there's that acceptance stage, then there's the balance stage where you've got to blend your human life and your new awakened self together. And then there's like, it's a never-ending process. You finally get stage 7, where it's like the end of the process, and you just accept it and you just roll with it, and all these wonderful things come into your life, and you just roll with it. Now I'm seeing star seeds from different races appear before my eyes. This is another stage of my awakening. I'm actually visualizing it in front of me now. So it's a never-ending process, but it's all about wanting to find your why and your mission on earth and where you come from. And it's all about, comes from our core beings. It's about answering who you are as a person, what we're here to do in this life as an earthly Earthen. I do have mad blonde hormones, so that's why I'm called the blonde psychic. Yeah, earth beings, like why are we here? You wanting to answer your why. What is your purpose? Who am I at the core value? You know, who am I? What can I do to complete my mission here on earth? But it's all about understanding your core and your values, as our past lives and our starseed life make up the core values of who we are today and what your mission is here on earth. Sorry, I sometimes go on a tangent, don't I? I'm just like blah, 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 blah.
That's fine. So, from undergoing this process yourself, what did you come to learn about your specific journey and origin and purpose?
Sorry, you mean starseeds or past lives?
Um, yeah, if you can talk about both, that's
I think
great.
it cut out a bit then. That's why I was like, huh? So my starseed life, so I'll start with my past life. So I actually did a course with a fellow psychic called Nisha, and learned how to channel and meditate and learn how to learn about my past lives. It's a skill that didn't come naturally to me. I had to learn how to do that skill. And actually I discovered I had 7 past lives. And from those past lives, you actually carry a piece of yourself today from each of those past lives within you in this world that we're living today as a human being. My starseed life came so much more naturally for me. I did that course 3 years ago when I was first awakening, and now I'm just on a totally different level than where I started, as you do, as you grow and evolve and learn. But my starseed origins came so easy to me. I was seeing TikToks about Lemuria, and I was like, what the hell is this place called Lemuria? And straight away, it's like little stars, sparks going off in my head, and it's igniting the memories that I've had in my starseed life. And I've had 3 starseed lives, I've come to find out now, but it just came so naturally for me once I heard Lemuria. It's like the messages were sprung to me in my head, and the story evolved from there. Once I channeled into the energy, it was just came out so fast and vivid. And wow, the change from when I was 3 years ago to now is crazy. How much you evolve as a human and how you awaken the memories and find out who you are as a starseed and past life selves. It's just crazy how fast it's come.
And how does this information kind of present itself to you? Because I know a lot of people are like visual, and then some people are very auditory. I find I'm a lot more visual than auditory.
A lot of the time my partner says, what are you doing? I kind of go in a daze. Like, it's just like I'm pinpointed to somewhere in the room, and it's like I'm not here. It's like I'm here physically, obviously, but my mind just switches off and I just stare at a point, and it could be 10 seconds, it could be half, probably not half hour, 20 minutes is probably the longest I've been out of it for. I'm still conscious and I still know what's going around me, but it's like the visions are just, they come so fast into my mind. They're just told by the person who's channeling it. So this was Mita, who was my first starseed life. She was a Lemurian in Lemuria, which was obviously on Earth millions of years ago, thousands of years ago. It was actually her telling me the story of her life and how I was her. That was my 3rd starseed life, but it was my first one I ever found out about. So it's actually the person who's given the experience, who I lived the experience as, or whoever wants to. I don't know if you've heard about transitional guides.
When they guide
Going
us through a certain stage. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're going through changes and your guides, you get extra guides and extra help because they specialize in the field you're going or transitioning into. So that was Mita. She appeared when I was learning about my starseed life, and she channeled the story to me. Yeah, so they just appear and I just sort of doze out of it, and I just get the story and the information thrown to me. So
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, that's really interesting that you mentioned that, because I did another interview with a lovely lady about, it's probably about 2 months ago now. And I was talking about, I had a guide when I first learned energy healing. When I was in my training there, I came to realize that this nature spirit that I dreamed of was actually a guide. But
Wow.
when it presented itself as like a tree with heart-shaped branches like this, and
Wow.
I used to see it all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I met my boyfriend, he we were on our first date, and he put his like arm on the table, and his, he has his sleeve up like that, and he just his
Yeah.
only tattoo was a tree with this heart shape on it, and
So it
ever
was like, wow.
yeah, so that guide was a transitional guide to meeting him, and ever since that first date, I never saw the guide again.
Wow. So they'll transition you and preparing you and getting you ready for your next big romance.
Yeah.
That's very funny story though. I've got a very similar story. The partner I'm with now actually has Archangel Michael is my main guide. The
Mhm.
first one I ever met. My partner now has an Archangel Michael tattoo on his shoulder. Isn't that crazy coincidences?
Yeah,
Wow.
tattoos. Like people are really drawn to getting tattoos for a purpose. I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, there's always synchronicity in everything we do. Like our guides are always sending us signs. I tell everybody I speak to, so many people are drawn to me now and they're like, why? And I'm like, look up the spiritual meaning of it. You don't need to ask me why, just look for yourself. The sign you're getting, look it up and it'll explain everything to you.
Hmm.
But I know we're here to assist everybody. So be kind and say, yes, another one, helping another one. We don't have a life, it's okay.
So I think you were up to talk before I interrupted. I think you were up to talking about, is it Mida, the guy's name? Yeah.
Mita. Mita was my first Starseed life, and I channeled her. She actually channeled herself to me and contacted me, which was really fun. She was from Lemuria, and in Lemuria, some fun facts about Lemuria is they're very spiritual, mostly feminine, place that was on Earth. They are very feminine energy run. They're governed by a high priestess and Mother Gaia, who I'm sure everyone would know of, who's Mother Nature, in other words. Um, they actually are inbuilt with their own eggs already fertilized, so they don't need a male to reproduce. So, and it's up to Mother Gaia how many children they have, but they usually just have daughters to continue the sisterhood of Lemuria. And it was funny fact because Atlantis, who was mostly masculine and was obviously our neighboring country, I think I'm going to say, they actually wanted more women in their population. So they came over, they sent a ship of men, about 10 soldiers over to meet some of the Lemurian sisterhood. And I had a sister as well. And I said she can go because I didn't want to get married. I was like a strong feminine woman who just wanted to stay at home and look after my mother, and didn't want to leave my planet. But I met this 16-year-old called Ike and fell instantly in love. And it was a beautiful twin flame story and moment. It was like, those typical scenes in the movie where you fall in love with someone, meet their eyes and gaze and fall in love. That happened. So my plan sort of fell through, and I ended up moving to Atlantis with him. But Mother Gaia allowed me to take my family over there. My sister married his cousin, and we took our mother and settled there. From there, we decided we didn't want to stay on Atlantis anymore, and we moved through Andromeda, and we helped as activists and helped free the reptilian slaves who lived there. And then we finished our lives as an Arcturian, and we were on the governing council there, and we actually made some plans to help create the human race. And the rules we created for the human race were that you should be able to obviously make love to actually make a baby and reproduce, because as a Lemurian we were already fertilized and we didn't get to share that experience together. Mm-hmm. And you also had we also made the rule about free will, and you should be able to choose who you want to marry, not just be forced to marry. Whether you could choose whether you want to stay married or stay single. You have to be forced to be married. So they were the rules. And then we decided to end our life as starseeds and come to Earth and find each other again. So it was such a beautiful story, the way she portrayed it to me. I'm like, oh, I just want to cry. It was like a movie, like flashed in your mind, even though she was sitting there talking me through it. It was like literally a 10-minute movie, and it was just so fast, and I was typing it all down as she was channeling it. I was like, whoa. And I was really emotional at the end of it, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Can you go into any detail about like what those places were like? So Atlantis, Lemuria, and how you like travels between different places?
How we traveled. Yeah, so we actually traveled by like light tunnels. So we weren't on a ship. There were actually light tunnels, like beams, and you actually just fast travel through them. Lemuria was a beautiful, it was like heaven on earth. That's how it's described. It was like beautiful water. They're both, obviously, Atlantis and Lemuria are water planets. And it's just, oh my God, tropical gardens everywhere, flowing waterfalls, blues and purples and vivid colors everywhere. It's kind of like my background, just flowers and birds, and it's so beautiful. You wouldn't want to leave, and I didn't want to leave until I fell in love. See what boys do to you. Atlantis was more masculine. It reminded me of Rome. It still had the beauty and the ocean and, you know, the beautiful waterfalls and stuff, but it was more built like, it was reminded me of like the Colosseum of Rome and the buildings, because it had a lot more they actually were ruled by a king in Atlantis, and he was very egotistical and thought with his human egotistical brain a lot of the time, so he wanted to, you know, rule more than Atlantis and fight wars, and yeah, he was just a horrible man. And then we traveled by, there was a great calling put out because they were having the, I think it was the War of Lyra, yeah. I don't know if you know about the Galactic Wars, but they're very informational. Go and look them up, the Galactic Wars by Piper, and he's a great YouTuber. It fed me a wealth of knowledge. So we star traveled through, it's called star traveling. So it's like a light of beam, and it's just, you travel so fast. It's like, it just happens. You like blink and you're there. I don't know if you've seen, what can I compare it to? Like the Jetsons, you know how they go up that elevator and like, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. So that it's called star traveling. So then Andromeda is a beautiful blue planet. It's very, like, it's just, there's got a couple of moons and it's very blue. It's like just pale blue, dark blue, pale blue. The moons are beautiful, they're huge, and it's very mountainous as well. And it is true, they have a lot of domed houses. It's like they're on this solid foundation, cone-like foundation, and then they have a cone roof. And we actually stayed, and they actually, we helped free the Andromedan, the reptilian slaves that were freed from Draco. I don't know if you know much about the reptilians and the Dracos. They're just...
I do, but if you can talk as though I don't, for anyone listening who doesn't know.
So the Draconians and the Alpha Draconians are the most feared people or origin in the galaxy, and they just want to ultimately rule the whole galaxy. But you know, the Council of the Five and the Galactic Center put protection in places for Earth and other planetary or galaxies within our planet. Planets within our galaxy, sorry. So there is protection for us all, but the Draconians want to take it over, basically. They're just like the, who can I compare it to? Who's a villain? Who's a good guy? Kind of like Mario Brothers and, what's his name? The dragon dude. Why can't I think of his name? Bowser. Yes, so we're Mario or Bowser. Bowser wants to rule in the end and steal your peach. So that's what Draconia wants to do. They want to rule the galaxy, okay? And the Andromedans had gone and freed a lot of their enslaved reptilians and any race. They just take over any race they can, and they have lots of slaves and prisoners doing the work on Draco, and Draco and Andromeda are right next to each other. So the Andromedans are very brave and always forward thinking and want to just be heroes and help humankind ascend into the next dimension, which is amazing of them. And they just went in and freed all these slaves. So we helped. They actually didn't go and free the slaves from Draco, but we helped try and reform them back to human life on Andromeda. And then we went to Arcturus, which is in the Boots constellation, and that's where the Galactic Center is, and that's where we worked on the council that, you know, that's where we governed that what mankind would be like as a future race. And Arcturus is red, and it's very browny reddy, has a lot of moonish atmosphere as well, and very mountainous, but a lot of dome. It's very similar to Andromeda. So there's a lot of homes, it's very populated. There's a lot of people in both Andromeda and Arcturus because they're very heavily populated and they're very old civilizations. So they're very similar. Very busy cities, lots of flying cars, as you see on lots of Earth future shows. Yeah, very advanced race technological wise, and yeah, they're amazing civilizations, and I wish everyone could witness them by astral travel. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah. And with these starseed past lives, are you aware when you come across someone in this life who you were connected to back then?
Yes, I've well, not me personally yet. From my past life, I have, but I haven't met anyone from my starseed life as yet. But I've actually do starseed origin readings now, and recently I've connected my friend Stacey, who was an angel in her past life, Archangel Haniel. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she was Archangel Haniel in her past life, and she actually created Venus. And we actually did an origin reading for another lady called Rel, and we found out that there's a hidden black hole within it's called the Abel black hole, and it's in Cetus, and it's where all the mystics come from. It's the original place, homeland of the mystics. And it was also created by Archangel Haniel. So I actually connected them two together, and it was like mother meeting daughter, and it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I also have another lady I did an origin reading called for Amanda, and her and Rel also shares a common fairy and connections with fairies. So they've met each other in past lives during their fairy life. So it's crazy how it all fits together in the bigger scheme of things. So I haven't personally met anyone from my starseed life, but past lives I have, yes.
Mhm. Maybe if we talk a little bit about um, channeling and astral projection and connecting with your guides. So this is something that I do find a lot of people, because I channel people's guides, and I do find I'll put posts up quite a lot, like polls to say like, have you ever connected with your spirit guide? And I do find that the majority of people, like over half of the people who answer, have never had any known contact or anything with their guide. So I think it
Yeah.
is a really important thing to bring forward because, you know, I do think people should be more connected and it should be a more normal thing.
It's one of the first things you should do, find out who your guides are, because they're the ones that guide you. They've been there since birth and nobody is even aware that they're there. It's a good way is like, it's your intuition. They talk to you through your gut feeling, your intuition, but that's one of the first things I advise people to do. But I'm interested to know how you find out how you channel them, because I won't channel anyone's guides for them, because I think, as they talk to you and they channel through our mind and speak to us, I don't know who your guides are or how they speak to you, but mine are distinct, like Archangel Michael, clear as day, soft-spoken male voice. And then I have an ancestor called Victoria from the 1500s who likes to come in when I'm having a bath, which is really annoying. Scottish, very heavy Scottish accent. And then I have a transitional guide who is el-manouk at the moment, and he's like very calm and soft-spoken. So clear as day in your mind speaking. And I taught people how to awaken this, but I think it's important for the guide to contact them first so they can experience it firsthand. So how do you tackle that sort of, making them contact them first and speak to them in their minds?
For me, it was something that just began to happen when I was doing my Reiki training. So I was actually, I'd heard about Reiki guides and about people connecting with guides, and before my Reiki training and anything like that, I'd only really had like lucid dreams and like precognitive dreams and things. But I always felt like everything was just happening in my mind and wasn't really aware of guides. Although when I met that nature spirit guide, I did then realise that that guide had been with me in a lot of dreams. But when I started to do Reiki, it just started to happen. So I'll be doing Reiki with at first there was like a group of us who were all learning together, and I would get images and messages from like whoever it was, like say it was an angel, and then I would tell them what I saw and what I heard, and then they would tell me that that was their Reiki guide, and they just or their spirit guide or whatever, and they'd just come to learn this like say a week ago or something. So when it started to happen a lot, I started to realise that um, the pictures or the messages that I was getting was from their guides. So I would now what I will do when I do work with someone is go into
Mhm.
kind of a meditative state and just write down all of the images and audio sometimes that comes through, basically. But yeah, so that it just happens through the Reiki training basically. And I was very skeptical actually about guides because because I was quite open to like spiritual things beforehand and I'd never experienced them. I always thought,
Yeah.
no, it'll never happen to me. I'm not going to see them. And then that happened. So
Yeah. That's why I think it's important for people to find it themselves. Like I've got a video up on my YouTube, it's like specifically how to connect with your guides,
mhm.
and I say people should find out for themselves, because the experience of them talking to you straight away is an experience you will never experience in your entire life. So I think once they talk to you and connect with you, there's no going back. And they respect your wishes when you're tired and you don't want to talk anymore, or they're always there for you when they need you or you need advice. But I think people should experience, them awakening or saying hello. Well, Archangel Michael said hello to me 3 times before, and I thought I was hallucinating before, but it was an experience. And I want everyone to have the experience of like, yes, it's a shock. Yes, it's scary sometimes, but they only come in when you're at a place of peace within your own life. So, yeah. So I guide people how to do it, but I don't think I can tell them. I can give them an inkling of who I think their guide is, but I say wait until they talk to you and contact you to confirm that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think everyone's different because one thing that is just completely elusive to me is like past lives. Like, I don't know um any of my past lives. I did have a friend who she knew a little bit about her past lives and during a session of Reiki with me, she did start to like have all these like past life memories and things, but personally for
yeah.
me, that's one thing that I feel I have a block on. Like, I don't know any of my past lives. I don't know like my Starseed origin. That's the thing that's
Oh,
just
wow. I can definitely help you there. It is so easy. It is so easy for anyone to do. All you need to know is obviously you know yourself as a person and who you are and what values and values you have and what you feel naturally drawn to. So what I say to people is the best way to tell. This is star seeds I'm talking about now, not past lives. Is to obviously read through the known. Well, I'm actually in the process of making my free starseed website, and it has 230 species of star seeds on there. So 150 that we're already known of, and I've discovered 50 plus through astral traveling. So I tell people, this is all in the book that I've just released on Amazon as well. So I tell people to read through them. And we're putting pictures to them in the second book. But read through them and what feels like home to you, from reading through the descriptions, what sounds most like you, what ignites or triggers memories within your brain, what feels familiar to you, and whatever you're drawn to. And you can have more than one starseed life, but whatever you're drawn to, feel strongly pulled to, is actually what resonates with you, and you will find the answer yourself through reading and evoking those memories. So it's really easy to do. People have just got to not be scared to do it. But I think a lot of people who are just awakening or even have been awake for a few years, they're still scared. The fear of the unknown, of doing something that we're not sure of, or our human brain kicks in and thinks, I can't do this, I'm not good enough to do this. It's all about staying positive and defeating that fear and knowing you can do this, and you're the best person that knows who you are. And if those memories are awakened from reading a paragraph, even one sentence, that is who you are. So people have got to face the fear, fight the fear, and just go for it.
would
Yeah.
you do you have any idea from like looking at people maybe where you
Yeah,
think?
funny you say that though, because even now shopping, by the way, I don't have a starseed free day. Every day is me and my partner just wake up and we talk about starseeds, and he's not awake yet fully. He's still realist, okay? So he's not awake, but through the stuff he experiences through me, which is another world for him. We even do food shopping. I'm like, that guy looks Corinthian, that guy looks reptilian, that woman looks feline. So our world has totally turned upside down, and just from people's features we can you know, that they may look like that appearance wise, but their character could be completely different. And you know, I could be wrong, but just from appearances, yeah, I have a bit of a giggle every time I walk past someone and think they're a certain race. But yeah, I can't tell 100%, but you know, just looks wise, yeah, I can guess. So it's pretty funny.
What would you say for me, just from looking at me then?
Honestly, from you, I get feline vibes big time. Maybe Lyra cross feline. Their characteristics are love outdoors, very lovable at their core, nature driven, love good food, love good you know, fun experiences and going on adventures. And they're here on Earth. They want to bring love and peace and a harmonious world, and teach people how to, and they're great healers as well, teach people how to heal and love, and you know, just open their third eye and have a great experience in life. I don't know if that explains you as a person, but that's some of their characteristics. That's just from, you know, the long how would you say it? Strawberry blonde.
I'd just say ginger, but it's up to you.
I didn't want to be rude or anything. I don't know how you know what your color is, but I don't want to be rude because I don't know if that offended you. But yeah, long ginger hair, and features, and like you got your eyes are really like cat-like.
Mm-hmm.
You remind me of a little furry cat, and it's really cute. But
Yeah, this is what other people have said as well. So
oh, there you go. I'm glad I'm on the money. But to know your full origins, I'd have to know who you are as a person, what you value. Basically, when I do an origins reading, I just ask a few simple things. Do you feel like you have a certain mission? Do you feel like you're drawn to anything? What are your values? What do you love in this world? I just need to know who you are as a person, and then I can channel through the list of 230 plus that I have, and then I will send you like a short list of 5, and whatever you are drawn to, then I go on and you're like, yep, I'm that person, I resonate with that person, and then I go on to channel your message. But it's funny you say that, because last Friday I spent all day from AM to PM talking to a woman trying to work out her origin, and she didn't resonate with any of the 230 known that we have, and which is okay because it's my job to help her. She paid for a reading, but all day, and it was very tiring. And what I had to do, I had to go back to basics and connect with my guide and connect to Meta, who was my starseed life, how helps me channel a lot during these readings. And I actually found out a brand new race for her. So this is the Abel Mystics we're talking about. So she's an Abel Mystic. And so if nobody resonates with any of the 230 plus that we've got, it's okay, because there's 2,500 species altogether that we have. Only 230 of them are known. So if you don't resonate with any, we can go back to basics and try and find out who you are. There's always a solution. You're always stem from something.
Would you like to talk a little bit about any of the new races that you discovered, or maybe how you discovered them, or anything like that?
So how I discover them, how I astral travel to them, I first bring up my goal was to actually discover one race within each star constellation that we have within our galaxy, and there's 88 of them altogether. So what I did, I obviously pulled up them from, I used Wikipedia because it's the best resource, and I researched their planet, their constellation information as a whole, then their mythology, which a lot of it stems from Greek mythology, and then I just read about their stars and their planetary objects, read about the whole constellation as a whole. I then go back into their stars, and I you know, read over their stars' names or their planets' names, and I see what my intuition pulls me towards. So I'm led in purely by my intuition. I'm like, so say they've got a star called A, B, C, and D. I'll go, okay, which star am I pulled towards? And it'll be C. So then I'll tap into C, read about C more thoroughly, close my eyes, get myself into a meditative state, say, let me travel there, astral travel there, please protect me, you know, do the spiel, ask your guides for protection, ask to travel there, and boom, gone. And it could be 5 seconds, but I get so much information within that second. I get their names, their races, what their planet looks like, what their mission is. You get so much information, and it's just not something that naturally comes to me now. It is crazy. I didn't know I had this ability, but it's a beautiful thing to have, and I'm grateful to have it. And
intuition is a really important thing that a lot of people overlook. And I think when you really like give into that and just allow that to kind of guide you, you can be surprised by what you actually know or, you know, can learn. So, and I think one thing about some of the things that we do talk about, like channeling and astral projection, one thing that prevents a lot of people from having these experiences is fear. So, if you want to talk a little bit about the protection side of it, so how you might protect yourself.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they stop their awakening process because they're afraid of change. They don't want their everyday life to change. And as human beings, we act from a place of rational thinking. And, you know, a lot of people are unawakened and they're realists. They want to see things. They want proof that things exist beyond their mind's eye. So that fear does stop a lot of people from thinking they're crazy or thinking there's more out there than there actually is, than what's in our 3D perceptive mind. But the way I got past that is, so before I astral travel, I always wear bracelets. So I always make sure I'm protected with black tourmaline. Black obsidian's also good, and selenite's really good, or clear quartz to raise your vibration, and rose quartz to bring love as well to any situation that I go through. So I always got my bracelets on. I also connect with my guides and any transitional guides that I may have at the time with me. And I ask them ultimately to protection. I actually pray to Archangel Michael, my ancestor Victoria, angels and ancestors, universe, God, and any transitional guide I may have. So there's like 7 I pray to, and I just ask to shield myself with the ray of light, and love, and don't let any evil penetrate my being while I am traveling. So it's all about protecting myself and giving myself that extra layer of protection in my mind's eye, knowing that they're protecting me and surrounding my body with light and love, and knowing that before I even go in, I'm always protected and I always come back unharmed. So it's all about, you know, putting the intent out there. If I even hold crystals sometimes if I feel like when I visited Draco, that was really scary. I was unprepared for that. But also to face the fear, my mind actually projected, there's different levels of draconians. There's tricksters or playful little children, as I describe them, evil and pure evil. And the way that I got a guide to actually travel around Draco with me, and he presented himself as a hamburger. He was actually like a funny little character, and he was a trickster, and he guided me around the whole of Draco, and my mind actually turned him into a hamburger so I could relate to him, and he wasn't so bad for me to deal with. So your mind helps you through the process as well, and you know, projects things within your realm to help you cope as well. People probably think I'm crazy that I saw a little cheeseburger in Draco.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I haven't told many people. I actually put it up on my blog, so on YouTube. So I don't know if people read it or not, but yeah, your mind does things to you to help protect you as well, ultimately. So it's quite amazing.
Yeah. And do you have any experience interdimensionally with like other realms in this space or anything like that? You know, like elven realms, fairies, things like that.
Yep. So you want me to speak about some of the experience I've had with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of the fairies, we found the origin of them, which was a Bell black hole, which is in Cetus. That's where they all come from. There are unicorns there. There are fairies there. There are humanoid inbred species there. So this one girl that I channeled a message for, she was a deer cross human. So she had a female's human body and deer bottom. So like antler, what are they called? Like deer feet? I don't know.
Hooves.
Hooves, yeah. So hooves, and then a female body, and she had like the little ears. They were really cute. They all come from the Abel black hole, and they actually were all on Earth at one stage, but people stopped believing in them, so they all left the planet because non-belief actually made them decease and die out on Earth. So they fled into the universe, and they're gone. But Gemini also house a lot of fun creatures. They have a species called the Poloxians, which present themselves as little marshmallow men, and their agenda is play. So all they want to do is play all day. And they also have fairies there flying around. So it's a very, very fun, colourful planet. And it's just, they're all about playing and having fun, like little kids. It's like a childcare centre constantly. They would drive me insane personally, but it's a very fun place to visit. And you just bring out your inner child and just play. And it's like a mushy, squishy land where you bounce off the hills and have fun. And yeah, that was a real fun place to visit. That's in Gemini constellation. Gemini have a lot of good and bad, but a lot of mythical creatures as well. Fairies are originally from the parallel universe, and crystal fae as well, which are the keepers of the crystals and crystal energy. They also subside in, and elves as well. They're a good one. They're cheeky little critters. Let me tell you the story of the elves. They're called Elena, Elleina. That's their typical name. They were actually described by Dante Santori's book, The Alien Races. So they originate from a parallel universe, and they subside in Germany most of the time, and they love to scare people out of their cars and steal their belongings. That's the whole purpose, to be tricksters and scare people away from their property so they can keep them. Aren't they horrible? I laughed my head off when I read that. I was like, yeah, that's going in there. That's going to go in there. Bloody elves. But yeah, there's a lot of mythical and fun creatures out there. Yeah, you've got to read the origins. They'll make you laugh, some of them. They're really funny and fun to explore.
I like elves.
Well, they'll just scare you and trick you out of your belongings. So keep your belongings on. You say, piss off. I know what your agenda is.
Have you come in to any conflicts or maybe like hate from people who don't believe like what you're doing, or just generally have like a problem with it?
Yeah. You've got, with humans and their ego, you're always going to have problems. I've had quite a lot of conflict within my human life. Like, I don't take the energy on board anymore. I used to let it affect me, but now I really don't care. But I tell people always, as human beings, we have free will, and it's a beautiful thing to have. So we're one of the only races within the galaxy that are lucky enough to have free will. A lot of other species are governed by rules and hierarchy and are made to follow certain rules and don't have free will. So you can always choose to believe me or not believe me. That is the most beautiful thing about free will. And when I come across adversity, I say, thank you for your opinion. I value your opinion, but that is not my belief. You live your life your way and I will live it my way. That's as simple as it needs to be. But the best advice for newbies to this awakening is be careful who you open up to. Find like-minded people and don't take the energy of haters on board or non-believers on board, because that is the biggest energy you can carry, and there's a lot of energy vampires out there as well. As your light gets brighter, people will want to attack you more and more about your beliefs. So don't let it affect you, and don't let it ruin your your road to your awakening. As you physically as well, you go through symptoms as you awaken that won't be nice. Like, I've gone through hauntings, I've gone through shadow men trying to attack me. Shadow men aren't dangerous, okay? They are just curious because you're shining so brightly and you're awakening so quickly. They're just curious about what's going on in your world. So if you tell them to go away, if they're scaring you, they'll respect your wishes and go away. But you're going to face adversity as you grow as a person as well, and even from other people. I was in a group recently And I was sharing so much knowledge that I was learning, and the admin wouldn't let me post about my readings that I do or about helping people. But when, like, she rejected every post I was putting up, and I was like, why is she doing this? And I had a feeling, and I told my partner, I was like, she's going to take my ideas and post the same stuff, I bet you. And a week later, she had all of my content up there. She'd copied everything. I was so angry. I left the group. I told, I'm not a malicious person, and I hate greedy people, okay? I think everyone, if you have an idea, great. If I have an idea, great. Let's work together and share it and educate everybody. But to steal someone's idea straight from under them and do the same thing and then let your post be seen to everybody and not mine, that's just greed. And she was pretending she was like this beautiful starseed who was there to help awaken people, yet doing that in the background. That's, you know, not nice at all. So I did let that get to me because my ego was very worn down and hurt. But, you know, I just left the group, started my own group, and you know what, if people want to follow her, good on them. If not, that's okay. I'm a bit more selective about what I share and I don't share now, and I make sure there's copyright, or I'm going to make my own website where it's copyrighted, so at least I know the content I'm creating is under my name. So yeah, just wanted to talk a bit about that conflict and what you may face as you grow.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing as well, because you do kind of feel at first when you go into it and you start to come to peace and love and things like that. You don't really understand that other people in the community don't really have the same intentions. They're more there to, you know, unfortunately, maybe just make money, or just, you know, they're not coming up with their own original work. And
yeah, it's a real kick in the guts when, you know, you worked so hard and done all these months of investigations and put all these beautiful new readings together for people from your own research, and then someone just goes and steals your idea and denies your post and doesn't let the world see your original work when they put up the same identical work that you've just been denied. So yeah, it was a kick in the guts. It wasn't fair. And they say copying is a form of flattery, but it's just a form of greed to me. And find your own work, get your own original ideas. But yeah, I had to let it go, otherwise it would just haunt me. So yeah, just more selective about what I share.
yeah, and to me as well, you know, with us all journeying through awakening and, you know, having a really nice time, if two people did decide to do the same thing, you know, some of us will be drawn to one person and some of us will be drawn to the other, just based on our intuition and our guidance. So there's there's always room for more than one person. You know, there's tons of psychics, there's tons of Reiki healers, and we all go to where we are drawn to. So there's no need to push anyone out or to keep anyone down. That's just not, you know.
I'm just so passionate about it. I've just like blah, 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 and will talk anyone's ear off. And I'm thinking, whoa, I don't think about their intentions. I don't think whether they're there to steal my ideas or, you know, steal from me and use them as their own, because I'm just so passionate about educating. And I do, as a psychic medium, you do so much for free without wanting anything back. You just want to educate and awaken. And you don't think someone would do that to you with horrible intentions when you're so pure-hearted and you just do everything out of wanting to spread love and educate people. So yeah, it's not a nice thing to go through, but it teaches you not to be so a bit more selective with who you share information with. So everything from now on is done under my name, so they can see it's originally come from me. So yeah.
And if someone watching did want a reading or a session or anything, I will link everything below anyway. But if you want to talk a little bit about maybe books, websites, whatever you want to mention.
Sure. So I'm across multiple platforms. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under my name, Donna Hawthorne. I'm on TikTok as The Blonde Psychic. So The Blonde Psychic's been my name since I started. Somebody said, oh, you're a blonde psychic, you're a bit dull. And I was like, oh, yeah, I am, because I sometimes have really blonde moments where I can't even pronounce simple words. So it's like, duh. So TikTok under The Blonde Psychic. My YouTube is under The Blonde Psychic. My email, you can link below if people want a reading. I do origin readings and past life readings. It helps you understand who you are as a core, who understand you as a person, know your values and what's at the core of your being, to understand yourself a bit better as a human being. I'm specializing in those reading nows. We also have Facebook group called Starseed Life, which anybody can go there and talk about anything, as long as it's obviously common sense and not anything rude or discriminative. That's a beautiful group we're trying to build up now. And my book I've just written, Starseed Origins Prequel, is out on Amazon. It goes over the 230 known origins, goes into descriptions about them. But the second book, Starseed Origins, will be out in December. It's currently being illustrated by our beautiful illustration artist, Alicia. It's going to have a heap more information as well. Like, I'm going to travel back there and put more descriptions in. I'm going to write about the wars and a bit about more planetary and mythology information, a whole heap more information. So that's probably the better book to get if you get out of any of them. But if I wanted my work out there, because if people try and steal it from the website I'm putting up, then you know, at least there's a copyrighted book ready with my work in it. So that's the reason why I released it early. But I also am creating a free website called the starseedorigins.webs.com, and that will have all of the races on there, lots of information on there, and a blog. So when I discover more races and travel and channel, I'll be writing all about the adventures on there as well. So it will be constantly being updated and a source of free information for everyone to get from as well. Yeah.
Great, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.